Welcome friend. In the next lecture on inverse Laplace transform. In the previous lecture we have seen the inverse Laplace transform by using the partial fraction. Now in today's lecture we are going to see the inverse Laplace transform by using the convolution theorem. Let us begin with the what is meant by convolution, and then we will discuss the problems for inverse Laplace transform by using the convolution theorem. The first question is, what is convolution? See, f of t, we have the two functions. One is f of t and the second is a g of t. Okay. Now the convolution of f of t with g of t is denoted by f star g of t, and it is defined by, it is equal to integration from 0 to t f of u into g of t minus u du for t greater than or equals to 0. So this is the definition of convolution of the two functions. Now we are going to take a help of this for getting the inverse Laplace transform of the two functions. Okay. Now first we will discuss what is the Laplace of convolution first. Suppose f of t and g of t are the two functions. These are the piecewise continuous functions on the closed open interval 0 infinity, and they are of exponential order. Okay, where Laplace transform of f of t is equal to capital F of s, Laplace transform of capital G of Laplace transform of g of t is equal to capital G of s. Then Laplace transform of f convolute with g of t is equal to, or f of t convolute with g of t is equal to Laplace transform of f of t into Laplace transform of g of t. That is capital F of s into capital G of s. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this Laplace transform of convolution of this? Okay. Now therefore we are going to find out the inverse Laplace. The inverse Laplace transform means use of the convolution for inverse Laplace transform is like this. See, Laplace transform of f of t is equal to some capital F of s. Laplace transform of g of t is some capital G of s. Then inverse Laplace transform of capital F of s into capital G of s is equal to. Now see, just have a look here. F of s into G of s is nothing but Laplace of f convolute g. Is it correct? Yes or no? Yes. Now their inverse Laplace of means if I take this L to the left side, what will remains on the left side? If we take L to the right hand side, what will remain on the left side? It is f convolute with g of t. But what is the definition of f convolute with g of t? F of t into f of t convolute g of t, or f convolute g of t, is integration from 0 to t into f of u into g of t minus u du. Are you clear with this? Now you have this idea clear, f of s into g of s. If I want to take its inverse Laplace transform, so then its inverse is f convolute with g of t, and f convolute with g of t is nothing but integration from 0 to t f of u into g of t minus u du. Okay, we will now solve the simple examples. First, find the inverse Laplace transform of 1 upon s into s plus 2. Okay, now the question is, we have to solve this problem by using the convolution theorem. While looking at this problem, we have seen the similar problem with the partial fraction also. Is it? So now here I am going to apply the convolution theorem. So while applying the convolution theorem, our job is to separate out the terms or separate this particular function as a product of f of s into g of s. So here it is 1 upon s into 1 upon s plus 2. Is it okay? Now, here what is f of s? Capital F of s is 1 upon s. Capital G of s is 1 upon s plus 2. Now get their inverse Laplace. Why we require the inverse Laplace of f of s and g of s separately? Because inverse Laplace of f of s into g of s is f of t convoluted with g of t. What is f of t and g of t? These are nothing but inverses of f of s and g of s. Therefore, inverse Laplace of f of s is equal to L inverse of 1 upon s, and inverse Laplace of 1 upon s is 1. L inverse of g of s is equal to L inverse of 1 upon s plus 2, and its inverse Laplace is e raised to minus 2t. Okay. Now, what is next? I call the inverse Laplace of f of s as f of t, and here I call it as a g of t. Therefore, by convolution theorem, what I'm getting by convolution theorem? By convolution theorem, inverse Laplace of 1 upon s into s plus 2, that is L inverse of capital F of s into capital G of s, is equal to f of t convolute with g of t, that is integration from 0 to t into f of u into g of t minus u du. Therefore, L inverse of 1 upon s into s plus 2 is equal to integration from 0 to t f of u. Now what is f of u? What is small f of t here? It is 1. So wherever you have a term of t, replace it by u, which is nothing but your f of u here. But here f of t is a constant function, so write it directly 1. Now g of t minus u. In g of t, replace t by t minus u. So this will be written as e raised to minus 2 times t minus u du. Okay. So this is integration from 0 to t e raised to minus 2t into e raised to 2u du. This e raised to minus 2t will be taken outside into integration from 0 to t e raised to 2u du. Why e raised to minus 2t come outside? Because integration is with respect to u, so t will be treated as a constant. Now what is the integration of e raised to 2u? It is e raised to 2u upon 2, limits from 0 to t. Yes, e raised to minus 2t outside of the bracket. So when I substitute the upper limit, I am getting this 2 I am taking outside. I am getting here e raised to 2t minus, when I substitute the lower limit here, it becomes e raised to 0, which is nothing but 1. So let's multiply by e raised to minus 2t to this bracket. This is e raised to minus 2t, this is e raised to plus 2t. Minus 2t plus 2t becomes a 0. Anything raised to 0 is 1 minus e raised to minus 2t into 1. Hence I am getting e raised to minus 2t. So this is my inverse Laplace transform of the given function. Okay. Now what are the steps involved in this problem? It's very easy to remember the steps. The first step is simplify the product and identify what is your f of s and g of s. In second step, get the inverse Laplaces of f of s and g of s and call them f of t, g of t respectively. And in the third step, apply the convolution theorem and work out the integral. Okay, so this way you can derive the problem based on the convolution theorem. Now in examination, there may be specifically mentioned in the question that solve by using convolution. Then only you can apply the convolution theorem. But otherwise, for this particular problem, instead of applying the convolution, you can go for the partial fraction also. Now if there is nothing mentioned which method is to be followed, whether the convolution or whether the partial fraction, then you are free to select. Are you clear with this? So usually whenever there is a quadratic factors, you can take a help of the convolution also, because most of the students find the partial fraction difficult in case of the quadratic factor, so you have a choice. But remember one thing, read the statement of question carefully, what is mentioned there. Okay, now let us come to the another example. Now the next example is 1 upon s plus 1. Okay, I'll just change the problem. Okay, I'll just keep the same, 1 upon s plus 1 into, say, s plus 1 into s minus 1 square. Okay. Now first is we will simplify the product, L inverse of 1 upon s plus 1 and into 1 upon s minus 1 square. The question comes, which one is your f of t and which one is your g of t? That means which one is f of s and which one is the g of s. Now you are free to select the f of s and g of s, no doubt. But if you ask me, I'll suggest you take this one as a f of s and this one as a g of s. Yeah, of course, you will ask why. It's because if I just to get an inverse Laplace of this, I get to get an inverse Laplace of this, I need to apply first shifting theorem and then standard results. So means inverse Laplace of this will involve two terms, and here it is only one term. So if I call this as a g of s, then while applying the convolution, its inverse Laplace, in its inverse Laplace, t will be replaced by t minus u. So we'll get two terms with a t minus u and one term with a t. So that will be a little bit of complicated one. So to make it simple, what I do, I call this as f of s and this as a g of s, that is the s plus 1. Now inverse Laplace is 1 upon s minus 1 square inverse, and inverse Laplace of g of s is equal to 1 upon s plus 1, L inverse of 1 upon s plus 1. So it is e raised to t into L inverse of 1 upon s square. What is L inverse of 1 upon s square? It is t. Okay, and here it is e raised to minus t. I call this as f of t and this as a g of t. Okay, now by using the convolution, inverse Laplace of 1 upon s plus 1 into s minus 1 square is equal to f convolute with g of t, that is integration from 0 to t f of u into g of t minus u. Now the question comes, what is my f of u here? Okay, what is f of t? E raised to t into t, so that becomes my e raised to that becomes my f of u, e raised to u into u, and this will be replaced by e raised to minus into bracket t minus u du. So this is integration from 0 to t e raised to u into u. While simplifying this, I am getting e raised to minus t into e raised to plus u du. So one can have e raised to minus t outside, integration from 0 to t u into e raised to 2u du. Okay, now apply the integration by parts and derive this solution. I have already explained the integration by parts, that is generalized rule, in my very first lectures based on the definition of Laplace. So here this is my function u and this is my function v, because the derivative of this function vanishes earlier. So u as it is, second term minus derivative of u will be 1. In the third term, derivative of this will be 0. So I'll skip that. Now this is v, its integration is e raised to 2u upon 2. In further term, this entire term will be integrated as e raised to 2u, this 2 as it is. While taking an integration of e raised to 2u, we'll get one more 2 in the denominator. So hence this is e raised to minus t into bracket t into e raised to 2t upon 2. 2 2s are 4, e raised to 2t divided by 4. This is for upper limit, minus for lower limit. This entire term going to be a 0, minus e raised to 0 upon 4. So this is equals to e raised to minus t into bracket t e raised to 2t upon 2 minus e raised to 2t upon 4. Minus minus become plus 1 upon 4. So this is our expected inverse Laplace transform of the given function by using the convolution theorem. I'll just give you a simple example as a practice problem. I expect everyone will solve the question and post your solution on the WhatsApp. Find the inverse Laplace of 1 upon s into s plus 2. Okay, thank you. In the next lecture, we would like to discuss more problems based on the convolution theorem. There are variety of problems and we will try to discuss all varieties depending on this convolution theorem. Thank you.